And we're back with another episode of Brew Your Mind, the podcast where we get to drink coffee and beer, and you get to sit back and listen to us ramble about what's on our minds. I'm Justin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jesse. Welcome back. I'm excited to be here with a great week, Justin. Good to hear you again. Yes. Oh, man. Good energy this time. What's going on, brother?
Wait. I think we have someone else here. I think there's someone else on this call. Oh, yep. Everybody like to introduce Sam Dekker. He's here with us. How's it going, Sam?
Hello, my friends. How are you? Great to be here.
There's Sam.
Always great to be
here. Yes. We got Sam Dekker here, guys, and we're really, it's awesome that he's here. It's great. And you're probably wondering, like, hey, why is Sam Dekker on Brew Your Mind? Well, let's think technology. Let's think Warzone. Let's think quarantine, because that's what happened. Sam and he actually tweeted out who wants to play Warzone a couple months ago. And, of course, everyone on Twitter hit him up and was like, let's play. And, we jumped in, played a couple games, and here we go. We actually just got done playing. I don't want to talk about it because it wasn't a dub. It was actually like a third and fourth place, right, Sam?
Yeah, we played actually a really good game. Just bad last circles. It happens.
That's what it comes down to. Just bad last circles.
Dude, I'll tell you what the problem is. You ain't had me
Jesse.
on your team. Word?
That's right.
Word.
You lead us to victory. Before we dive into, because this episode is going to be a little about Sam, talk about him and whatnot. Before we dive into that, we like to talk about what we're drinking. So, Sam, what do you got over there, man?
I have a coffee, not black. You always give me flack, but it's in a Starbucks Florida Sunshine State mug, and we are ready to roll.
Love it. Cool. What about you, Jesse?
Word, brother. You know what I'm doing? I'm partying, dude. I just got off that night shift, dude. I got to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? It's morning time here, but it's my party time. I'm drinking that White Claw again. You know what I'm saying? I got the fridge ready to go.
You're on the third shift?
I'm on that night shift life. So I was working from, what time did I go to work? 11 p.m. last night. Just got off work.
11 to 7.
11 to 7. So I had to rush here. I was like texting Justin. I was like, dude, I'm hurrying, man. Had to change, had to set all this stuff up, had to get my drink. Well, I'm excited, though. We got that good energy. Justin, what are you drinking?
Absolutely crushing it. I got this IPA, Pride and Joy, because I'm feeling prideful and joyful today on this Sunday. It's a gorgeous day out here in England, mid-70s, and I spent most of the day inside, so that's good.
Same. Mid 40s and rain, just beautiful.
Ooh, wasn't it just mid 60s there the other day?
It was. It's like it'll be like 70, and then it'll be like 30, and then it'll be 55 and sunny, and then it'll be 40 and raining, and then 70. So it's all over the place.
Damn, dog.
Good old.
Where are we
Wisco.
talking about? Where is the? Oh, in Wisconsin. Nice, dude.
Yeah, buddy.
What I wanted to say real quick, Justin, before we get dived in too deep with the Dekker talk, like we're going to do. I want to say I was going to represent you guys on here. I had that Brewers T-shirt that you gave me all those years ago in my closet. Well, I put it on, man. That thing's too small for me now. I'm too fat. But I was going to represent you boys, join in on the brew crew time. But
love that.
That's it, man. That's all I got.
It's the thought that counts right there. That's good stuff. Love that. That's right. All right. So we're gonna talk about a little Sam, and we're gonna kind of break it up. All right, because I'm sure if you hear Sam Dekker, you're probably thinking the basketball player. So we'll dive into the basketball side of it first. And I don't know. I all I can say is after playing a few months of Warzone with Sam, basketball Sam Dekker is something I really don't think about much anymore. It's like you forget sometimes, like Sam Dekker is who he is, and he's just actually someone who clutches it up in the final circle with a heavy machine gun, So we're going to dive into that a little bit. So Sam, NBA player Sam Dekker, and you're over in, you were over in Russia playing for, is it Lokomotiv Kuban?
Yep. Lokomotiv Kuban.
Lokomotiv. And you already, right. I mean, you're pretty much foreign in Russian, right? Since you've been spending the whole time over there and everything.
Oh, yeah. It's so fluent. No, it's a very difficult language. It took a while. I actually taught myself the alphabet so I could read like signs and restaurants and some menu stuff. But other than that, it is not an easy language. And you learn things here and there. But yeah, you definitely feel way far away from home when you are dropped in a country that knows and teaches almost no English.
Yeah, and you were telling me before and you went through how many head coaches? Was it 3 or 4? And
we had 4 head coaches this year. 3,
just in
3.
one season, 3.
But we had 3 within 2 weeks. You know, we started the year playing well, and then lost like 4 of 6. Just had a bad month, and fired a coach. We had an intern coach, and we won like 4 in a row. So we're like, okay, yeah, they're going to keep him. Then we lost 1 game, and they fired him. And then we hired a new coach. The leashes are very short. You know, it's not like in the NBA where they give you time to figure it out and put in what you need to put in. You know, over there, it's if you don't win, it's what have you done for me lately? And you are on pins and needles all the time because you know at any moment they could be done with you as a player or a coach. So that was something I had to figure out and learn.
Gotcha. I mean, it is pretty serious over there. It's the VTB league, right? And it's like the second rated league behind the NBA. So it's actually like, you know, it's legit league.
Yeah, it is. And we played against a lot of guys that I played in the NBA, played against a lot of guys I played with in college. So it was like every game I played against, you know, some Americans that I knew, which was always cool. And, you know, you see how global the game is and how there's opportunities for everyone out there. So it was a great league, and I think I learned a lot this year.
That's good. That's awesome. And I mean, since we're kind of speaking about like the Russian experience that you had, I feel like you had to share with the people the experience you had for leaving Russia and how quick a turnaround that was as well.
Yeah, it was that's been kind of documented, but
yeah, you know, I know you talked about it a couple times.
Yeah, and you were I was asking you in the middle of it when we were playing like Call of Duty and stuff, like, what should I do, man? And you know, there was rumblings about, you know, the season being suspended. We didn't know. The team was kind of telling us to stay put, and I was actually under quarantine because we played against a team that a couple guys tested positive. So I was quarantined for 2 weeks in Russia, getting tests. I had 2 COVID-19 tests done. Thankfully, those were all negative. But so if I can make a long story short, the day after my quarantine was lifted, I got a call from a woman that works for our team and said, "Hey, I just found out that Russia's going to close all its borders. You have to get to the airport as fast as you can." And this was like 10:45. Mind you, I was asleep because I was playing Call of Duty till like 4 a.m. So this
right,
basically my alarm clock, and it took me 45 minutes to pack up my apartment in 5 bags and get an Uber to the airport. And thankfully, I got on the last flight out, got to Turkey, had to spend the night in Turkey. And, you know, in the morning in Istanbul, I got up and I got a call. "Sam, please tell me when you get on the plane because Turkey is shutting its borders." So I got real nervous, and you know, thankfully they started the lineup for the flight. So I'm like, okay, we should be good. I get on the plane, and we're just sitting there, and then the pilot comes on and says, "This is going to be the last international flight for the foreseeable future. So we are going to wait 2 more hours for anyone in the area that needs to get to New York." So Turkish Airlines did a lot of people a solid that day by, you know, it was annoying at the time, but, you know, I was thinking if I were in that position, I would want them to notify me, "Hey, we're going to hold this plane for 2 hours, get to the airport, and we'll get you to New York." So once we were in the air, I could breathe a sigh of relief. But yeah, it was a tough 48-hour travel day.
Man, 48 hours.
What a story, dude.
Crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I know you shared it a couple times, but I mean, that's what it is. It's a pretty crazy story, how quick your life can change, just like that. But I mean, it seems like you've been adapting pretty well.
Yeah, and it was pretty stressful. To be honest, I was like when I got home, you know, it was weird. I like had like hives on my hands and my arms for like, I think, and I called my buddy and he's like, I think you're just really stressed. And I think that's what it was. I was just so stressed, not much sleep, a lot of questions going on, like what's going on, what's going on. And I think my body was just like, dude, what are you doing? And it took me a good week to get back into like a normal groove once I got home. But I'm very glad to be here and social distancing in Wisconsin rather than Krasnodar, Russia.
Absolutely.
Damn.
It's good to be there with your wife for sure. That's good stuff. So to rewind it a little bit more, to go further back before Russia, obviously you're in the NBA. You're in there for, was it like 4 years now, right? Because you were drafted in 2015.
4 years. Yep, 4 years.
So yeah, Sam Dekker, Wisconsin basketball legend, basically. I mean, everyone, if you ask him to create their like all-time starting 10, starting 5 with 5 on the bench, I'm sure you'll see Sam Dekker in that as well.
Yeah,
he gets drafted in 2015.
There. I don't even know anything about basketball, and I put you in every draft, man. Justin told me to.
The Go Bucky. But to talk about the NBA, and I thought this would be good to kind of tie it in, because Jesse and I, us being in the military, we PCS at times. We got to pick our life up and move on type thing. And you experienced that 4 separate times, really, or 3 times the trades, right, with Clippers, Houston, 4 actually with the Wizards too. How was that? Because I know you're not a big fan. I've heard you talk on other podcasts about the trades and how you pretty much hate them. But how could you overcome it and actually use it more as a positive tool and kind of like build you up as a character type thing? I mean, is there any kind of rewarding things coming from a trade, or is it just all negatives? Is what I'm trying to say.
No, it's a good question. Obviously, I can't relate to military life. That's a whole different thing. But just the overall mental toughness it gives you. When I went to Russia this year, my agent was like, so, this is, a possibility. Is there anything that, are you comfortable with that? And I said, dude, I've been throwing the kitchen sink in the last 4 years, from, back surgery to being traded 3 times to mid-season trades to being in the rotation, out of the rotation. There's been so many things that have been, thrown at me that there's not much that phases me anymore. I think one thing it definitely has given me is it's tough for me to trust, like some people, because I never know exactly, where I stand. And I don't think really many NBA players, unless you are, a max contract guy, know where they stand in the organization. A lot of times we are just a piece. So I realize that. I realize the business side of it is tough. And, it's hard when you make those relationships to then get traded. You almost feel not betrayed, but you feel sad, and you got to go to a new team. You have to, on the basketball side of it, fit in again, prove to a coach that you can play, learn a new offense, learn a new defense, meet new teammates, get to form those relationships, learn how to play with them, learn how to communicate with them off the court. It's a lot. And then on the non-basketball side, moving your stuff, telling your wife you're being traded again and she has to go somewhere, moving your pets, moving your stuff to a new city, calling people, figuring out where to live. Like this is all stuff we're trying to do mid-season. That's not easy. I'd be on Zillow before a game trying to find a place to rent. Like that's hard. And talking to a realtor, getting text at halftime from a realtor, hey, yeah, we can go look at this place tomorrow. Like that stuff's hard. And then trying to play in the NBA at the same time and prove to your team that you are a good player, it's not ezy. So yeah, trades are tough. They're difficult. Being uprooted is hard, but I think me and Liv have become pros at that. And now we're thankful. Looking back, we're thankful on all the stops that we made, and hopefully we have many more.
Damn, dude, that sounds like almost exactly to a T, like everything you described about starting over in different circles and your friends and getting comfortable with a place to live. Where's the nice place to live? Like that sounds like I almost just dread moving. I mean, you get used to it, like me and Justin. We've done it quite a few times now, but it's still, it always gets hard thinking, well, I got to reset my group of friends now, more or less. I got to go to a different workplace, even though that different workplace, like when we show up, it's still the same Air Force culture, just like when you go to a different basketball team, it's a certain kind of culture, but still there's these little differences that just stresses you out, and you got to figure out the place to live. So it's you saying that, it's like I totally relate, probably on way less of a pressure. Obviously, like, if like you're worried about trading season, like that, it takes a lot to get kind of kicked out of the Air Force or something, But a lot of the stuff you talked about is like pretty amazing. I never thought about that kind of thing. Like we would relate on that level. So that's crazy, man. You're getting good at it though, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's hard. You guys can definitely relate on that aspect. And I think one thing people don't always realize, they think we just put it on a jersey and that's, what we do. Like when you get traded, they think you just change your jersey and you just go play basketball. But like there is so much going on outside of the court that people don't realize that it factors into your play. I've seen a lot of really good players get traded to a place that they are not comfortable. The system doesn't work. Family's not happy. Like that takes a toll on you. And vice versa. I've seen guys get traded and they're like, oh my God, this is, a new life, a new beginning for me. And you just, fit is so important. Situation is so important. And I've seen, amazing players, have, tough circumstances, tough situations. And I would kind of throw myself in there. The situation and fit was, there's times where I felt like I got, the short end of the stick on it, but you got to make the most of it and try to go do your job as best as you can.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. Beautiful.
That's something I think, especially fans that are just so crazy about the game and just want the players that they root for just to go and just mesh and just make it happen and play the best ability. It's a lot more than just that physical talent, especially when trading, like you mentioned, that mental aspect. You got to be all in. If you're focusing on where you're trying to live the next day, you're not going to be all in. So it's definitely going to affect your game. So real good answer. Yeah. That's good insight for sure.
Dude, that's crazy. I've always wondered about, so on a very small scale, when we move in the Air Force, we become attached to the work unit we're with or the squadron. I do. Like I get attached to my coworkers and the morale of the place where I work, and I feel a sense of pride because I've invested time and getting to know these people. And then you move and you kind of reset. But something I've always been curious about, maybe with you, like when you switch a different team, is that really hard for you to adapt to? Kind of taking on like this is like for us, we have mascots usually on our squadrons or our work unit. So we have to all of a sudden flip mentality, like. You have to get invested into this whole different thing. So has like switching teams been, it's it's the same Air Force, but it's a different microculture sometimes, So is that like, has that been like hard for you to jump into, like being on fire, even though you love the game of basketball, but that's got to play a little bit into your, I don't know, I guess just mentally. I would feel like that would be hard on me. To be on a totally different city, different team, and then representing a whole pride of a city and a place for people.
Yeah, no, it's definitely you kind of go in, you kind of try to learn the culture as quick as you can, and every locker room is different. Every way of life is different. In terms of team schedules, what they expect of you, and that's where you kind of just have to find. As a pro, you have to find your routine and stick to that. And a lot of teams are now good about, if you get traded, they'll have, the head of player development sit you down and say, okay, Sam, what is your schedule? Well, what do you do on a daily basis for you to be the best player and to fit in right away? And they're good about that. And, as you get further in your career, they start to see, okay, Sam likes being here an hour before practice, get, these reps up, these shots up, these game situations up. Goes to practice, and then after practice, he likes his 25 minutes of these shots or these moves, and then pregame. Every city I've been with, every team I've been with, I've had the same pregame routine. I like being out there early, so if it's a 7:00 tip, I like being on the court at 4:15, and that's just about 18 to 20 minutes of game reps. Game, that's when you really lock in to get into your rhythm, into your flow. And then after that, I go get a light lift, a couple of treatment stuff on my ankles and my back, sit in the cold tub and then the hot tub. And then by then, there's at 40 minutes before the game, chapel for 5 minutes. It's a prayer with some guys. And then usually 35 minutes before tip, it's a team meeting, and you head out for warm-ups. So when you get into that groove, it doesn't matter what jersey you're wearing, because you can lock back in and focus on your night, your matchup, what your team expects and what you expect of yourself. And when you get into that rhythm, life becomes much easier.
Oh man, I love that. I'm all about. It sounds like I love it. So there's a certain quality that I've always loved about Justin, and we've been best friends for a few years now, and that we're always so different. And something that I've always loved about him, and what it sounds like, obviously a player of your caliber, sounds like something that you guys share in common is a certain level of like discipline and stoicism, where even though like outside influences, like you're getting moved around, you're not where you want to be, but you guys know how to get, like you said, locked in to what you need to do to be the best that you can be, regardless of what's going on, So I love learning more about people like you and like Justin and trying to be more like that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's all about controlling what you control. The controllables are very important, and that's what you should focus on. And it's hard. I'm not good at it. But if you can practice it every day, working on those controllables, your life's going to be much easier. And I think as an athlete and as a military men like you guys, getting into that daily routine and controlling what you can control, I think keeps you at a certain level of sanity.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Absolutely. So when I think about your professional career, Sam, there's one game that sticks out. And that is partially because I'm a huge Bucks fan, Giannis stan, and it was that game when you were with the Wizards. I'm sure you probably remember you played the Bucks. It was February 7th, 2019. Yes, the spring. I'm talking about that game?
In Milwaukee or in
Milwaukee?
DC? Okay, because we played the Bucks in DC on TNT, and I think I had 2 points, and I was like,
nope,
so
not
bad.
that game.
I was like,
okay. Not that game. The other game, it was a high scoring game. It was like 148, 129. It was a good game, but you had 12 points, shot 50%, 2 for 3-point line. But there was this one highlight that stood out specifically, and it was a defensive possession on you. You were guarding Giannis. You stole the ball. You went down. You dunked it at the end. I want to get your point of view. You were talking about Kevin Durant a couple days ago on Twitter and like how it was guarding him. What about Giannis? What was it like guarding him? How is he different than any other player? That kind of thing.
He is completely different than any other player. I will be honest with you, because he's just so long, and it's like freaky. I've tried to dunk near or on him like maybe 7 times in the past 4 years, and every single time he has gotten a piece of it, because he is just so athletic, so unique, and he's incredibly hard to guard. You breathe, you get a sigh of relief every time that he takes a jump shot, because even if he makes it, it's like, okay, I didn't get dunked on again, because he just dunks on so many people so easily. And he's definitely one of those transcendent talents that when you have arms that long, strides that long, and skill like that, it's incredibly difficult. And I've had to guard him many times, and he's probably one of the toughest guys to guard just because of his strength and his size. He's about 7'1" now, and just one dribble from half court and be at the rim. There's not many guys like that. I don't think there's any guy like him.
No, that's good. That's great insight. I love hearing about that. But
yeah,
I mean,
try to. One of those things. It's like just keep your coach. They know a guy like him is going to get his buckets, so they just say, stay in front of him. Just try to keep him in front of you and make a look at the hoop as tough as possible. But for a guy that's over 7 feet tall, he can kind of look over anyone. So you just kind of do your best and hope your coach doesn't get mad at you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy watching it on TV and then hearing your view from here. Because I mean, like you said, he's going to get his buckets, but you just have to do what you can to slow him down. So that's huge. That's why I highlighted the part where you actually did good spots. I mean, you actually dunked it after you stole from him, and then you had to mention that, you know. Yeah, I was trying to make you sound good, you know, because these people, some of them, you know.
I have. Yeah, I always have a lot of fun when we come back and play in Milwaukee. I always have like a cheering section when I check in. Most of the crowd gives me a little applause, and that's always super fun. And you know, and those moments are the ones that are like, oh my gosh, like I am in the NBA. And look at all these people supporting me. They're all wearing Badger jerseys and stuff. You know, there's really nothing like that. So it kind of gives you an added boost. And I think another thing with like the Giannis thing or Kevin Durant or LeBron, when I'm in my living room on the couch watching stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys are, you know, next level, and they are. But when you're on the floor with them, don't have time to process who it is. It's like he turns into, you know, your matchup. He's the guy you have to stop. You don't have time to be like, oh my God, this is LeBron. You know what I mean? Or be like, oh my gosh, I just scored on Steph Curry. You know, it's like, no, like this is your matchup. This is your guy. And if you take a second to think about what's going on, he's going to make you look like you have your pants down. So you get locked in this mode, and then after the game, you can kind of reflect. But that's something that I've definitely noticed happens over the years.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
Dude, that's
just focus
so
on
cool
your
to
game,
hear,
basically,
man.
You know? Play your game.
Yeah.
Hopefully the rest of it will take care of it. Yeah. So the last thing about Sam Dekker, the basketball player, obviously you're working your way back to the NBA. We all know it's going to happen. What are you doing now to make sure it happens? Because I mean, each day we're trying to get dubs in Warzone, but it's like I got to go work out. I got to get some shots up. So what's your routine looking like now? Is there a strict one you're sticking to?
I mean, it's kind of been the same way my whole life. I don't miss many days. You know, today is a Sunday, and my wife Olivia is packing up her house because we're moving to a new home. We're keeping the home we're in now, but we're moving to another city. And so I'm going to spend the day with her because I know she's leaving tomorrow, and I have the week here. So I don't think I'll be in the gym today, but most days it's about an hour of shooting, sometimes more, and then another in a lift or some sort of cardio afterwards. And it's just a lot of reps, a lot of game shots, because that's the thing, you know, athletically, not to toot my own horn, but athletically the game is really easy. But it's the thing that will keep me in the league and get me back to the league is consistent 3-point shooting. And you know, I've been a guy that's shot really well in spurts. You know, I'll have a great month and then a bad month and then a great week and a bad week. And teams want to see, can he come off the bench and shoot threes at, you know, a 45% clip? And I haven't done that yet. So that is what I have to prove, and I want to prove, and I just want to get in front of as many teams as I can and show that.
Man, listen to this. Now, I want to take a minute and evaluate the way he speaks. I want all the listeners to listen to. He's not making excuses. He's not pouting about anything. He's just saying, I got to get to that level, and he sees that target in mind. Now, before we move on from the NBA, Sam, I got to tell you, I don't watch basketball. I'm like the yin to the yang to the Justin. I'm like not a sports guy, but I love to act like I am. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I like to get on here and say some inflammatory things, get the listeners going. But I got a cup. What's that? I'm sorry.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it. Exactly. You know, right. We got our very dedicated listener with a question. Kyle. Hello, Kyle. He's from Indiana. So he is hardcore college basketball, and he's got some mean things to say to you. No, he had a question, and I don't know if this is like a sensitive question. All he texted me was Frank Kaminsky. That's it. What are your thoughts when I say that name? Is that something I should or should not say?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Okay.
He was
Jesse.
Yeah. Frank is currently with the Phoenix Suns. A great basketball player. He was with me at Wisconsin, and he was the AP and Naismith Player of the Year his senior year. So he was the best player in college basketball. And a great guy, a quirky dude, and I think a lot of fans love him, but a lot of Big Ten fans hate him too. So that's probably why your friend from Indiana said Frank Kaminsky, because Frank gave a lot of people hell.
Ah, that's awesome. I got one more question for you, and it's just out of curiosity as a, you know, what? So I've been watching, of course, like everyone else has been watching the Last Dance, Michael Jordan and all that. So it seems like when he was younger, he started off with a passion for baseball. Did your passion, when you were younger, did you have a different passion, like something, and then it just kind of curved right into basketball? Or has it always been that one singular thing?
Mm-hmm. I think my two passions were basketball and baseball. My summers were always filled with baseball, all day long. But it's funny when I look back on that time, as much as I love baseball, I always felt bad if I played baseball in a day without playing at least some basketball. Like if I knew I was going to play, a pickup game of baseball with my buddies at noon, I would ask my dad if I could shoot hoops for an hour at 10 o'clock. And I didn't think anything of it at the time, but looking back on it, that was always there. I was always paranoid to get worse at basketball. So I think that tells you what you need to know, that as much as I love baseball, as much as I love football with my friends, like I always hated doing those sports more in a day than basketball. And and so like I said, at the time I didn't realize it, but now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it was basketball all along, even if I didn't necessarily love it every day. It was what I felt like I needed to do, and it's something that I felt like was the only thing that could be my job. Like my only route was hoops, and it's been like that since at least first or second grade.
Dude, that's awesome. I tried basketball when I was in elementary school, and I never got picked up. They made me play like one part of a quarter because they were required to, So I was like, I ain't dealing with this rejection. And then I found music. But Justin, was your childhood the same for you, Justin? Did you feel like you had like were you always more drawn to basketball, or was it like kind of well rounded?
Yeah, it was basketball that I definitely look forward to, but. I definitely enjoyed and loved playing football, baseball, run track, more to stay busy, staying fit kind of thing. But basketball's the first sport I played, and I mean it's still the one that I continue to look forward to playing. So
still the one.
Yeah.
Listen, this boy.
Still.
Take it. Pop it top again. I got one more question.
All right, go ahead.
It's one more basketball question, Sam. Just curiosity.
Okay.
So, since joining the NBA, is there anyone that you've met that you already knew of, and that you just felt like when you met them in person, they were just amazing, or like or someone that you've made good friends with, or something like that?
Well, I think so. Like on a skill-based level, the first thing I realized when you're in the NBA. There's no bad players. As much as Twitter wants you to think there are bad players in the NBA, I think Kevin Durant said it on a podcast a couple weeks ago. He said everyone on Twitter likes to trash people, but everybody in the NBA is super, super good at basketball. And that's the thing. Like situation is so important for guys to thrive. But on a personal level, I think my best friend, like still a guy that just had a good connection with, and we still keep in touch and text, every few weeks, would definitely be Blake Griffin. I know he gets a lot of flack online, but just a genuine good dude, and funny as hell, and just a nice person, and checks in on me, on Olivia, texts me when he sees me doing something on Instagram, and just always like having my back, and that's good. And another guy like that is Pat Beverly, a guy that's such a bulldog. I know Justin, as a basketball fan, all about Pat's game on the court. He's as intense off the court as well, in everything he does. If I don't say hi to him correctly, he like gets in your face, and he always holds you accountable. And he's just such a good dude. And because he wants you to be better, and he'll just text me randomly, like, "You locked in?" Just like random. It'll be like a Tuesday afternoon. It'll be like, "What up, Deck? You locked in?" And it's like guys like that are just so unique.
Dude, for sure. That's
awesome.
that's what draws me to Justin so much. I feel like he's probably my guy. He's probably my pet. That I've learned that he has something. There's something about him, and I probably have a little piece of the puzzle to him. You know what I'm saying? And you recognize that you need those people in your life that are going to sharpen you. That hold you accountable, to show up and get locked in.
And I think you guys being in the military can attest to this, because there are so many things that kind of run parallel. I remember one time when I was in Houston, we were sitting in the locker room, and Trevor Ariza said, he looked around and he's like, "Man, I just realized something." I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Everybody on an NBA team has something wrong with them." He's like, "Because if you want to do this job, you got to have something wrong. You got to have a screw loose to like do things the way we do it, and to like be so obsessed, and to be able to get real mad to flip a switch and be real mad and angry. Like, you have to have something a little off to where you're so obsessed with something, and I think in the military, like, just being so regimented and being so disciplined, you gotta kind of have a screw loose to like buy into that and like learn to love it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Like you were saying just a second ago, like you were talking like people on Twitter talking trash about, and you're saying there's no bad player in the NBA. I relate, immediately came to my mind was just F1 racing. Like I was just like enamored lately with watching F1 racing, and all those guys have a certain screw loose. You know what I mean? They have the world already, but they don't care about anything else but beating their teammate even. You know what I mean? They seem a little bit, crazy when you're watching these guys, the way they think and the way they get locked in. It's like there must be something wrong. I mean, not wrong, but something just is like, different about these. They're like animals about that one thing. And it's just like, it's the same thing, when I was just staying relevant of talking about the Michael Jordan, he just wants to beat everybody at anything. He wants to play quarters and throw it against the wall and beat his bodyguards. Like, what is that? You know what I mean?
Dude, I was watching. So we were at Lambeau Field in a suite watching Wisconsin play LSU. It was opening weekend of college football 3-4 years ago. Wisconsin beat LSU. I don't know if you guys remember that game, but I was me and my brother were watching in a suite with Aaron Rodgers, and I'll never forget what Aaron said, because my brother and I were kind of talking to him about some stuff, and Aaron's, once you're just with him, he's so open. And I said, "Aaron, when you watch quarterbacks, like, there's two big schools here, two quarterbacks. So when you watch quarterbacks, do you watch like a fan, or do you watch like a quarterback and critique?" I'll never forget it, because this is kind of on the Michael Jordan, greatness type. He said, "I watch football like I'm the best damn quarterback alive." And I was like, wow. Like, he has a switch always on. Like, he is the best. Every room he walks in, he's the best. And I was like, wow, that is like a greatness characteristic right there. Like, to always feel like
that's
no matter
some goat
what
talk.
you're doing, you are right. Exactly. And you have to have that screw loose. And I respected him so much for that answer, even if it comes off. Some people say it's arrogant, but you have to have a tone of arrogance to be great.
There it is.
Dude, I totally agree. I get that same way when I'm watching, like drummers, for instance, play live. I just cannot turn it off. I just look at them as if, I could be, a certain competitive edge, kicks in. And like on our last episode of this podcast, we were talking about, we were talking about working out. And it's like, you got to find something that switches your competitive engine on. And, I get that way with like the dumbest things. I see someone, I'm not just appreciating what they're doing as an art. I'm trying to, I'm looking at it like, they better they better bring it, because that's what greatness is. And when they bring it, it makes me want to be even better. You know what I mean? It just ignites something in me. It's a respect thing, but I don't know. It is. It's like a little screw loose, and it translates. There's competitiveness and being an athlete. There's competitiveness and being a drummer or whatever. You just got to recognize it and run with it.
Yeah, and that translates also to like the work ethic at just doing my job. I see a coworker, and as a flight, we're succeeding, we're crushing the mission, we're doing fine, but they're getting recognized for it. I'm analyzing that. I'm like, yeah, cool, you got recognized for it, but what'd you do to get recognized for it, and how can I do it, and how can I do that better? That just it continues to motivate me and continue to try to, I don't know, make sure I always get better at the job. And so it all just comes together. I mean, we just started talking about basketball and then moved on to football and drumming and work. So it's cool that we get to see that.
It all connects.
Yeah, so many parallels.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about Sam Dekker, the person. We can do this more of a quick hitter, just so the people know a little bit more about you, the person that you are. And I want to dive into Twitter, Sam Dekker, because I just get a kick out of it. All right, because it's just a fun time.
Oh, man.
And outside of that, it just being fun, you actually, what I love about you is that you use that platform that you have and all the followers that you have, you use it for like an actual purpose. You create conversations, you actually reach out, respond, or like what people are replying back to you. I mean, just the other day you were telling you were hitting up Twitter, you were like, hey, tell me one thing that you're thankful for. And and you just got like over 100 comments giving you, positivity. So what's it like having that many followers that you can actually engage in, because I know you also caused Twitter beef and some arguments. So what do you think? Do you enjoy it? Do you have fun with it?
I do. I enjoy it in all the worst ways. Like I love the interaction. I've had, it's weird. I found this niche in Twitter when I was in like a sophomore in high school. I like all of a sudden just got a lot of followers, and I've always been confrontational on there. I don't know why. Because I feel like I'm very unapologetically me, and I hate conforming to everything. And it's one of those things that like okay, for example, I said something a couple weeks ago about protesters. So saying like, oh, I don't think that was the time. The entire conservative and right wing of politics came at me. Blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, I forget, I said something. The entire liberal side of Twitter attacked me, saying all this. So I'm in the middle. Like, what am I? If everyone hates
also being
me,
accused to be a Russian spy.
I've been accused of being a Russian spy, communist. And I'm just like making a quirky comment. And yesterday, I kind of did like a social experiment. I said, like, I hope you have a good day, Twitter. I wonder who gets mad at me today. And people got mad at me for that. And I literally was just doing a social experiment. I was just like sitting in my car. I was like, I wonder if someone will get mad at this. So I just tried it because I don't get too upset if people get mad at me. It's okay. It's up to them. And I was, oh my God, people actually got mad at me for this. I actually have more fun with it than people. I don't think many people would be able to handle, some of the things people say. I don't mind it because they don't know me. If they sat and had a beer with me, I think they would find me to be a fine person. But I think my favorite stuff to interact on Twitter, though, is like Brewers talk, Packers talk, basketball talk. But once in a while, I just want to be a person and put opinions, even if they're not right, out there and just see how people respond. And sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. But I think that's the beauty of being able to talk with people. And I think people appreciate that. Even if they don't like what I say all the time, I think they appreciate that I'm an open person. I hope they do.
Yeah. You gotta keep being you, because I mean, like I said, I just appreciate the social presence that you give on Twitter. Of course, I get the biggest kicks off your sarcastic tweets, because I mean, you can just see the sarcasm just bleeding through there, and everyone's just getting all offended about it, and I'm just laughing. Yeah. It's just a good time, and I don't know, it's really awesome.
And especially you, Justin, now that you over the past 3 months have gotten to know me.
Yeah,
you know how sarcastic I am. When I talk with you, even over a headset when we're gaming, waiting for a game, the things I say to you are like, oh, I hate that you're such a liar. I hate you're a bad friend. Like things like that. I love getting you riled up, or trying to get people riled up, and that's just the type of person I am. And I think it's more fun to be like that. And I think you've learned that, and we can shoot junk at each other, and it's I think you have to live like that,
Absolutely. Hey, people, Sam Dekker's not a bad person. Listen to him.
Dude,
have fun with him. Joke back.
I think, joke.
Yeah. So you mentioned gaming. We have to dive into Call of Duty a little bit because you told me a little secret. I don't know if it's that much of a secret, but you used to be like a Call of Duty goat in college. Is this true?
Yeah, I think my senior year of high school and then going into college, Black Ops came out my junior year of high school, and then Modern Warfare 3 was my senior year. And those were the two games that I got like obsessed with, and I was doing it every night. And yeah, I used to have people on my floor my freshman year, and my roommate Zach Showalter. They used to just want me to play Call of Duty so they could watch. And yeah, I just remember like playing Black Ops and 70, 80 kill gameplays, just like over. And this was before like twitching or before I knew.
Right.
I think I just missed that part, and I was just doing it for fun and found it to be pretty easy. I've scaled back on my gaming just due to my job and also being married and having a life like that. But I still get my groove. You see, sometimes I can be decent, and I just love the game. It's fun, and it's another way to compete, especially right now. And it's kind of get your mind
Give it
up.
to him, Sam.
Damn, dude. Hey, you ever think about doing a little twitching now? Like like anytime you jump on.
Yeah. I guess I don't think my presence would be as big now because I'm not currently in the NBA. I'm sure like Wisconsin fans and stuff would tune in, but maybe down the line I sign another contract in a big city. You get some more followers from that, and then I could maybe jump into that. But I kind of have fun just having that be like my little space to just like hang with my friends and joke around. I'm so active on Twitter, so active on Instagram. Yeah, I'm so active on a couple media platforms already. So many people know those aspects of my life. So I kind of like having this like little intimate space where I'm just a couple guys, just shooting shit and just having fun.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I love it. It's a good time for sure. Quick hitters: Parks and Rec or The Office.
The Office.
Oh yes, right. Baby.
There you go. Do you have an office or go to Michael Scott quote that you live by or you like to say a lot?
I have a lot. I say a lot of Parks and Rec quotes when we play games, but I think a go-to Michael Scott line. I mean, obviously that's what she says are always flying. But what is the line he says when he said early bird? What do you say? Early bird worm. So I'm very wise and I have worms.
Are they friends or? Oh man, I've seen that show too many times.
But, The Office for sure.
So good. All right, good. And go-to hype song right now. Is there one that gets you going?
Dunes.
Landed by Drake on his new mixtape. I've been listening to that before my workouts a lot, or during my workouts. That song's been getting me going. But I also play when I play Call of Duty. I play the Bulls old theme song.
Oh, intro.
That gets me ready.
Yeah, gets you real hype. Now standing at 6'9".
That's going in the teaser. That's going in the teaser this time.
Yeah. I like that. That's going to be epic. I have this tweet of yours. Do you remember ever tweeting something like about toiletries?
Yes.
Do you still stand by this tweet? Should I read it?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
So Jesse knows what the
Yep. Is. So Sam tweeted this a long time ago. I don't remember the exact date, but I had to do some digging. All right. So he tweeted, I thought toiletries were toilet trees. Just thought the word was a play on the idea that everything you need for a win in the bathroom is from one hypothetical toilet tree.
Oh, God. I'm giving that a fat follow.
Any questions on that?
What do you think about that?
That's some next level insight. That's some next level analysis right there. I don't know what.
That's the kind of stuff you think of when you're sitting on the John. You don't know what to do. You think about toiletries.
No, I've always been like, I think one thing people don't know about me, I'm a big thinker. Like when I take Riggins for a walk, I'm just thinking of just random things. And that was one when I was little. I was like, toilet trees. What if you have one big tree and you have shampoo, toothpaste, toilet paper all on it? And whatever you need, you just grab it out of that tree. It's a toilet tree. Like
what
the other
else
day,
did you ask for?
the other day I was thinking, are are left-handed are left-handed baseball hitters actually righties? So think about this.
Please break it down.
When you're at the plate, if you're lefty like me, you're standing in the right batter's box.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And when you're a lefty, your bottom hand does a lot of work if you're right-handed like me. So I swing lefty, but I use a lot of my power and my stability with my right arm through my swing. I know that may not always be mechanically correct, but my follow-through is with my right hand. I'm stepping with my right foot. I'm looking through my right eye. Am I actually righty, even though I am called a lefty?
Wow. Our mind has been brewed here, people. You heard it here first from Sam Dekker.
When you hit it,
and we're all sober too, by the way.
When you hit it to right field. Think about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Are lefties actually righties?
Wow. You may just cause a movement here. Actually, that's something you should bring to Twitter. I'm surprised I haven't seen it.
I'll tweet it after this.
All right, good. Skydiving. Are we going when you can?
Need to.
Okay. That's something that's on your bucket list, yeah? Anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. We've been talking about
Digging to
skydiving.
China. No, I don't know. Skydiving is definitely on my bucket list, and climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Okay. I like that.
Hell
like
yeah,
that.
dude.
Last thing, we'll close it off with this. If you could go back 10 years, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah. Got deep for a second to close it down.
No. I don't want to get too introspective or serious here, but I think one thing I would tell myself is to, like, your rookie year, when you become a rookie in the NBA, respect the alphas in the room, but never be out alphaed, if that makes sense. So like I was super concerned with respecting the vets and respecting the highest paid guys, that sometimes I didn't assert myself the way early in my career, the way I should on the court, when I knew I could, but I wanted to fit in more than stand out. So, and it took me to my second year to understand that. And I think if I would have came in with the mentality I had my second year, I think my career would have shaped a little different, or just I would have been able to have my foot through the door and the door opened earlier than I did.
Gotcha. That's good advice.
If that makes sense.
That's like that moment when like Steve Kerr gets in a fight with MJ, and then Michael Jordan looks back and he's like, I respected that.
Yeah.
Like my rookie year, I wanted to be like a good teammate, and because I knew I wasn't going to be like this big guy right away, but so I was more concerned about being a good teammate and not like taking bad shots. And then like going into my second year, I was like, man, I got to prove myself. And then I started being really assertive in open gyms and voluntary workouts, and then it just gave me so much more confidence to guys who were like, oh wow, like Deck took the next step, but I could have done that a year earlier to garner that on-court respect that I could have had. So,
gotcha.
Man, that's like a delicate balance though. Like I understand, I don't think you did anything wrong because like with dudes, like you can see through that very quickly if someone's trying too hard. So you don't want to come through like acting like you're trying to be too assertive when you haven't exactly earned it, and like so there's like a balance, this really fine line,
very delicate,
to be a leader.
Hard. That's why I respect a lot of these rookies that come in, not like lottery pick rookies, but like late first round picks, second round picks that come in and make such a splash. Those are the guys I really respect, because when you're picked second, fourth, fifth in the draft, you're going to have a green light. They're handing you the keys. But when you're the 26th pick, the 38th pick, and you come in and they start shining right away, it's like you did something to gain respect early on in the locker room, and now they're giving you the keys in some regard. And there's a balance there, and it's hard. Not everyone gets it, And so if I had to go back 10 years, I would kind of map that out for young me to be ready for that.
Yeah, I mean, you were drafted 18th, so I mean, you being drafted there, you have to kind of find that role, and I guess find it pretty quickly to be able to adapt, like you were talking about. That makes sense.
And I got drafted by a team that won 54 games, so it's not like the Rockets won 18 games. So like, Sam, you're going to play 30 minutes a game. They just went to the Western Conference Final. They just beat the Clippers, and lost in 7 in the Western Conference Final. So it's like, okay, I'm going to a team with James Harden, Dwight Howard, these household names. That's not the easiest thing to break through. And obviously, some things dissolved to where, there was a slot for me to move in and get a lot of playing time for, early in my career. But, it was a unique landing spot at the time. But I ultimately loved my time in Houston and loved being a Rocket.
That's good. That's good stuff. I mean, that's really all we have that I could see. Yeah. It's crazy because, I mean, we play Warzone often. We talked about it already in this episode, but I've learned so much from you, from this podcast, from because I mean, it's weird because once we play Warzone, like we talked about, we get locked in. All right, we're like each other's Pat Bev, and we're like, you locked in? Okay, all right, calling out. I got your Northwest, and we're not really small talking. There's not. That's not really the place for us to do it. We're trying to play a game, chill. So all I have to say is thank you so much for coming on and sharing all that insight. It was awesome. Jesse, do you have anything else for Sam before we shut it down? I ran out of my beer, so that's why I'm closing it down.
Oh, go get you another one, brother. Son, look, this is some excellence right here. This is some energy that we've been talking about episode after episode after episode, and you're hearing it here first. That's what I'm talking about. Take this little nugget and run through the week, run through that month with it. You know what I'm saying? Take that energy, keep it going. You know what I mean? Don't be bothered by this little minute shit that gets you down. You know what I mean? Remain stoic in your life. Right. You know what I mean? Work hard. Believe in yourself. View yourself as the greatest player out there. And take that challenge. Every little challenge. Keep going. You are that. You know what I'm saying? You're not just some little player that's coming in having to be some kind of little timid this. No, this is what you are. You know what I'm saying? Your greatness. We got to keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? I got to remind myself all the time. Like I was just telling Justin, like earlier, I was texting him. I was like, man, like 2 days ago, I was having like an existential crisis. Like I was like, what's the point of anything? And then today I feel good. I feel you're just on fire. And then it's like this. You're talking about people sharpening each other. You locked in. You locked in, dude, just out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? Find you something. Get you a good circle of friends that does that for you. Get you that good energy. You know what I'm saying? Right. Get each other locked in.
Like my friend Justin says, love that.
Love that.
That. Cool. Sam, you got anything else for us before we shut it down?
No, man. I just want to say thank you guys so much. I know I've been hard to get on here, but Jesse, it was good talking to you. Good meeting you, man. You sound like an awesome dude, an awesome friend with a lot of energy. Justin, obviously, it's been cool. With technology, being able to meet people across the globe and make friends, and it's like now with my second cousins you've been playing with and stuff. It's crazy how like friendships can form over the technology that we've been given, and it's really cool. And it's crazy that like you're one of my close friends now that I talk to on a daily basis, and I've never met you, and that's crazy. So excited to see what's ahead of all of us, and really thankful to meet both of you now and make friends.
Yeah, cool. Really appreciate that. Mentioned second cousins, Sean and Seth. Know you guys are going to probably be listening. Shout out to you guys. I know you wanted your names to be heard. There you go. So yeah, cool. Absolutely. Sam, thank you so much for coming out. Everyone else is listening. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you guys stay safe. Have a great week, and don't forget to brew your mind.
See you, dudes.
Brew your mind. Yeah. Bye.